Greetings, my fellow gamers. 'Tis I, Wraith King, and welcome to the Dark Kingdom. This is a subject that has been bothering me for the past few days now. If you're unaware, there has been a skirmish right now against, I feel like that's putting it lightly. It's more like a all-out war against artists and AI artists, AI creators, I should say. I think the word artist is a bit of a stretch because the most they do is type, and I suppose there's an art in that, but we all do it, and it doesn't take much time or effort. But anyway, my point is, as someone who draws with his hands, as someone who has put years behind this craft, I can tell you that this is not the way to go about art. It's not the way to go about creation. If you want to be an artist, if you want to be a creator, you have to put the work behind it, and there is a point to doing that. I'm not saying it's workless, like there's nothing at all that goes into creating AI art. Very little, if anything. Typing isn't much, and especially if it's just like a page worth, it's like nothing. I can do that, and I'm not the best typer. Like, my spelling is terrible, but even the computer can correct that for me. There's very little effort put into AI creation when it comes to art. And that is where we have to draw the line, at least a little. Creating AI art isn't a problem, but the reason I brought up work in itself is people are getting paid to do this. Not entirely something I agree with. As someone who does draw, as I told you guys already, I do get paid to draw as well. But let me give you an idea, concept of this. What if somebody came over to your job? You love this job, right? You absolutely love this job. You put a lot of time and effort and love into your craft, and you're good at your job too, and people appreciate your work. But here comes somebody with a machine that can do exactly what you're doing. And then your manager's like, well, we got this machine now. I guess we don't really need you anymore. And then look, you're out of the job. You're completely out of the job. Like, how are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to put food on the table? Huh? And see, that's how some of these artists feel. Now, I know that this fad is going to die. As an artsy guy, like, I am heavily artsy. You guys will know a little bit more about that later in this video, but let me just tell you, I am very artsy. So, when it comes to people like me who just love looking at artwork and have dedicated their life to creating, it's not going to be hard for us to see. And there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of people like me. I'm not alone. There's loads of us. And some of you might be watching this right now that could probably see this as well. This is AI art. It looks soulless, doesn't it? You'll be asking yourself, yeah, it does, but I can't quite put my finger on why. Now, I'm going to show you something. Hopefully YouTube doesn't kill me over it, but there's a pinup artist that I think is very talented, although I don't entirely agree with the craft, as I myself am not a pinup artist. You guys have seen my work. Sometimes it does lean that way a little bit, but I am more or less a bit more passionate in a different way with my work. There is an artist by the name of Elias. He is very, very talented. I'm going to show you some of his work, the least racy I can find, and I'm going to show you some pinup work by an AI, and you'll be able to tell just the difference between the two. Now, YouTube, don't kill me, please. I'm too young to die up too small a channel. Anyway, this is Elias's work. This is probably the least racy of his work. The rest of it is a bit too spicy for YouTube. Sorry. Now, compare his work to an AI's work. This. I think you can almost immediately tell the difference. Now, I can't show you the rest of the pictures, obviously, because YouTube will cut me alive if I do. Now, you can tell how much life and passion is in these characters' expressions with Elias's work compared to an AI's empty, lifeless, almost like a doll. And it's kind of creepy, actually. And this is coming from someone whose work is literally the definition of frightening. By the way, this image I drew right here is too much for YouTube as well. You're gonna have to check out my Newgrounds for that one. But yeah, shameless plugins aside, my point is, it's very uncanny, it's very weird, and I know it's going to get better eventually. But that is what I am afraid of. I don't want these talented artists to be put out of work because they work for this. They work their whole life to create what you see now. And a lot of the artists from the past, a lot of the talent that we had from years ago, and the still living legends we have with us today, they wouldn't agree with this. AI art is not an evolution where I think we should go with concerning art. This is something I think it's fine to do on the side. I think it's okay to do by yourself if you're bored, whatever. But being paid for it, I don't think is right. I think it's wrong. It's no different than like what I told you earlier. It's like being replaced by a machine on your job, what's normally done by humans. And this is a practice I don't think we need to do as a species, as, again, this is something that we're supposed to do. We're supposed to create things like this. We're supposed to work for things like this. And if we rely so much on technology, what's going to be left of us? What's going to be left of us as people? Especially something like this, which is an expression of our humanity, art. What will be left of us if we just rely on everything on AI all the time? What will be left? And I don't want that to be the future. I think art should always be a human thing. And if you want to do AI art, like I said, I think it's okay if you just do it if you're bored, maybe share it with your friends, but never charge people for it. I see people with Patreons for this AI artwork, and they charge you for it.
What? No!
Yes, they do! They charge you for it! Again, I think it's fine to create these things. I don't think there's a problem with it. But you don't want to replace the real thing with something so hollow. Art should always be put in the hands of real artists, people who actually put the work and effort behind these things. And no hard feelings against anyone who creates AI art. That's not the type of guy I am. I feel no ill will toward anyone. I hate it when people attack others. This is wrong. This should be a peaceful protest, by all means. And luckily, I haven't seen anything like that, at least not personally. But what I'm just trying to say here is I have no ill will. And I just want art to be practiced by people who are the professionals. And not just that, but people who have put passion behind their work. You don't have to be a professional like Ellis or me to be a talented artist. You could be a hobby artist. You could be someone who just loves to draw just to draw. And if you feel like you don't know how, I'm actually going to start teaching you guys how to do that, how to draw, how to find your hands. This is something that I feel like a lot of art teachers don't talk too much about, is every artist draws their own unique way, and you have to figure out what that is. You'll find out what it is sooner or later. You just have to find it. And all that aside, I have nothing but love and passion for all forms of art. And although AI art does contradict a lot of what art is supposed to be, I don't think it's entirely a bad thing. I just think that it should be practiced, absolutely, but you should never take away the whole idea of a job, the concept of being paid like a real human artist, putting work and time and effort behind it to create something that looks beautiful, colorful, lifelike, and to replace it with something so soulless. I just don't think that's appropriate. With all that said, AI art is fine, but it should never go as far as it's been going, at all. There shouldn't be people charging people for it on Patreons, There should not be anything like that. It should just be a thing that you can do on the internet for absolutely free. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, no hard feelings, none at all. I'm not the type of guy to preach any message with any hate behind it. I'm just the type of guy to just sit down and talk with you and speak some logic in this situation and spread some light on it. As someone who does draw, I am an active artist. I've been drawing for 23 years now. I love my craft, and I've been practicing for this whole time. And because of that, I have nothing but passion for all forms of work and in the field of art. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, and if you want to stick around for me teaching you guys how to draw and find your hands, whatever they might be, and hey, I've seen artists that have put everything into their work. There's some artists who don't even have hands, who draw with their mouth. Seriously, these people are so passionate and beautiful and just amazing that they put so much effort into their work. And that is the beautiful thing about artwork, is the work and effort that you put into it. And without that, it's not really art, in my opinion. It's barely even, it's nothing. It's hollow. It's a shell. And art is supposed to be life. But yeah, that's all I have time for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you too can be part of the Dark Kingdom. Bye.